Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. I've held off for years, but today I finally tackled the weighty topic of how to choose the right digital distributor for your music. Actually, there's quite a bit to unpack here, so just so my video doesn't get too long, I will be doing this in 3 parts over the next 3 weeks. Today is part 1. Today I actually want to talk to you about 2 things that just about every distributor lists as being important and that many artists think is important, or at least a factor for you to consider when choosing a digital distributor that actually don't matter at all. Then, as a bonus for watching, at the end of this video, I'll give you a link to where you can download my paper called Your Digital Distribution Checklist, which is a handy guide to all the questions that you should ask your distributor before deciding who to trust with your music. Now, a bit of context first, so you know I'm not just blowing smoke. I've been around digital distribution since before there was digital music distribution, way back in 2001 when I was running sales and marketing for Discmakers. Before I was CEO, I made a deal to make our Discmakers artist CDs available in the CD Baby store for sale, CD sales. This was before digital distribution even existed. Then, in 2004, when the iTunes Store was about to launch, Derek Sivers, who was the owner of CD Baby back then, he ripped all the thousands of CD titles in his warehouse onto several hard drives, drove them to Apple headquarters in Cupertino, California, and CD Baby thereby became a launch partner for the launch of the iTunes Store. And voila, CD Baby was in the digital distribution game, and our CD clients were now all available on iTunes. Now, fast forward to 2008, when I was CEO, I was able to negotiate a deal with Derek Sivers to acquire CD Baby because he didn't really want to run it any longer. Now, all of a sudden, we were in the digital distribution game. CD Baby is located in Portland, Oregon, and since I live in Philly, I would fly back and forth regularly to meet with the great team that CD Baby had in Portland. And we owned CD Baby for 11 years, and for those 11 years, I was ultimately responsible for both Discmakers and for CD Baby until CD Baby was sold in 2019. On top of that, as both a former artist and small indie label owners, I still get modest distribution checks every quarter or so, all of which is context to say that yes, even though my day job is running the best CD manufacturer in the world, I am pretty familiar with the digital distribution market and with what artists need. So, let's dive in, shall we? As just about every artist knows, digital distribution is a crowded space nowadays. There are literally dozens of companies trying to convince artists to use them to distribute their music to streaming sites. There are the 3 giants, of course, DistroKid, CD Baby, and Tunecore, and then there's a whole range of companies, large and small, vying for your attention and for your music. Now, mind you, in this video series, I am not going to tell you choose Tunecore or CD Baby or DistroKid. Plenty of people do that already. Instead, I'm going to tell you what features to look for that matter the most to you and what questions to ask so that you can accurately decide who offers the services that make the most sense for your music. So, an interesting thing has happened over the past year or 2. Used to be the big 3 distributors all had pricing levels and models that were pretty different. CD Baby charged a one-time upfront fee of around $50 for an album and $10 per single, plus a 9% commission on streaming royalties. DistroKid charged $19 a year for unlimited uploads, took no commissions, but would find lots of little ways to charge you a few bucks a month here and there extra. And Tunecore charged $50 a year per album, but no commission on royalties. Then, a funny thing happened. As the market became more competitive, more competitors in the space, and as DistroKid started gobbling up market share, prices everywhere dropped and became way more similar. There was a huge commoditization of distribution services. Today, in March of 2023, as I'm recording this, DistroKid charges $23 for unlimited uploads. CD Baby charges $10 per single or per album, plus their 9% commission. And Tunecore now has a somewhat confusing range of pricing plans, starting at $15 a year for unlimited releases. So here's the first fallacy I want to address. Artists talk to me all the time about the cost of CD Baby versus DistroKid versus Tunecore as if it matters. And where indeed in the past it did, today it's gotten so cheap to distribute your music globally that price should not be much of a factor in your decision making. You want to check it, of course, but the differences aren't all that huge anymore among the three big distributors. Of course, by the time you actually watch this video, pricing may have changed again, but I doubt that the three giants of independent distribution who watch each other so closely will let pricing drift significantly apart again. So, price is not a significant factor. That's fallacy number one. What's the second one? Well, I've seen many distributors brag about how many streaming platforms they distribute to, 90, 100, even more. Does that actually matter? And the simple answer is no. I'm going to show you some numbers that will explain exactly why. Check it out. I just went to the CD Baby account for my music from back in the day, and I tallied up the past 3 years from March 2020 through March 2023, how many partners it took to get to a payout of 99% of my royalties. For me, there were 60 partners who paid me out something in the past 3 years. Here you see a report of the top 45 platforms that pay me. The first column represents the platform, i.e. Spotify, Apple Music, etc. The second column represents the percent of total streams. So you see, Spotify represented 48.7% or almost half of my royalties in the past 3 years. And the third column represents the cumulative percentage of royalties paid out as we go down the list. The list goes up to 60, but you can see that by the time we get to number 36, we're pretty well 100% paid out. The remaining sites paid out fractions of pennies. So how many sites did it take to get to a 99% royalty payout? Less than 2 dozen. In fact, it took just 19 streaming platforms to cover 99% of the royalties I got paid in the past 3 years. And it took another 41 streaming sites to add up the remaining 1% of my royalties. And here's the kicker. Those 19 platforms included 9 Apple accounts for Apple Music US and Europe and UK and even iTunes. And it also included 5 for Amazon, for music, for premium, for Europe, and for, get this, Amazon Disc on Demand. In fact, in total of the 60 platforms that paid me anything, there were 21 Apples, you can see them in yellow, 17 Amazons in gray, 2 Googles, not including YouTube, and 2 Pandoras. So really, when you consolidate all those Apple, Amazon, Google, and Pandora accounts into one each, there's only a total of 20 streaming companies that paid or reported anything at all. And how many platforms did it take to get to 99% of sound recording royalties? Just 6. Now, for you, the partner payouts and percentages will be different from mine depending on a number of factors like your genre and where you're located. But the point is that every distributor delivers to at least these top 20 platforms that collect 100% of your sound recording royalties. So, to recap the 2 big fallacies which artists and distributors want you to think are important, but which in fact aren't, are number 1, price doesn't matter. All the various pricing schemes of the big distributors are so close that they're not materially differentiated. And number 2, the number of streaming sites they distribute to doesn't matter either. Everyone covers those 2 dozen or so platforms that drive just about all the revenue. Okay, I think I'm ready to wrap this video, but before I go, I've got something for you. It is your digital distribution checklist. Check this out. It's a list of 59 questions and options for products and services offered by the digital distributors in the market. It covers where your content is delivered, how and how fast they pay you, how easy they are to work with, and creator tools and promo and marketing services that they offer artists. Really, everything you want to ask a distributor in a nice, clean list. And I've set this up so you can easily check off which of these items are important to you, and in your shopping around, you can then figure out if they offer it or not. It makes finding the right distributor for your music a total no-brainer. To download this PDF, just go to discmakers.com/ddchecklist. I hope you found this helpful so far. There is a lot more ahead. In my next video, I will discuss all the many royalty collection opportunities and channels that different distributors offer, which ones matter the most, and I'll explain why. I hope you'll join me then. Thanks for watching.